Perhaps some of you are joining us today from somewhere where it is very early morning, and we are really, really grateful that you are able to make to join today's session. And whoever joined us today, please feel free to share the link with your colleagues and friends so that who are interested could also join us, and we could have a very insightful session of knowledge sharing and experience sharing. And once again, we are really thankful to ICAD and the hard effort of the Gobeshona team members that you are hosting such a big, robust, unique platform for knowledge sharing. And it is really a great opportunity for us who are working in the development sector to share our collective knowledge and experiences so that we could enrich and build on each other. So my name is Moshmi Haldar, and I'm working with Christian Commission for Development in Bangladesh, CCDB, and our organization is based in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And today we are hosting the session titled Agricultural Adaptation in Coastal Bangladesh, Status, Challenges, and Way Forward, under the broader theme of food security and agriculture. So as you all know, and there is no doubt that As you all know, and there is no doubt that agriculture sector is one of the most affected sector by climate change. And the frequent climatic impacts comparing to the past decades is making the agriculture practices more difficult day by day. And this is not only reality for Bangladesh, it is across the world. So in today's session, we are going to talk about the current scenario of agriculture sector, the challenges, and how and what we need to do to make this sector more productive uh, and as productive as earlier or perhaps more. So in today's session, we are going to get a comprehensive presentation on the current climate adaptation strategy, particularly focusing on the coastal region of Bangladesh. And then we will have our expert panelist session for to know about the experiences in this particular sector of agriculture and food security. And then we will open the floor for open discussion and question answer. And now I'd like to take the great opportunity to warmly welcome and introduce our expert panelists to this for today's session. So we are glad that we have Dr. Sheikh Mohammed Saeb. He is the Associate Professor of Department of Agriculture and Applied Statistics, Bangladesh Agricultural University, Babashing, Bangladesh. He is today with us, and he's a profound researcher, and his contribution in the field of statistics is well known. And again, we are extremely grateful that we have Dr. Muhammad Atikul Islam from Khulna University. He is the professor of environmental science discipline, and his past experiences in the field of research is invaluable for the practitioners for us. And as the chair of today's session, we have Mohammad Fazullah Talukdar, our Faz Bhai, who has really quite extensive experiences of more than 2 decades in working in development sector in Bangladesh. And he is currently leading one of the largest climate change program in Bangladesh. Last but not the least, we have our today's keynote presenter, Jasmine Akhtar, the young researcher with us also. And I am extremely thankful to all of you who have joined us today. And we are looking forward to have a very fruitful and insightful session and getting to know each other and exchange our collective knowledge to enrich in the field of climate change, agriculture, and food security. So without any further delay, I would like to request Faz Bhai as the chair of today's session on behalf of CCDB to welcome our guest and briefly talk about the session and CCDB. Yes, over to you, Faz Bhai.
Thank you, everybody. all the panelists and the audience of this session. I am very sorry that I could not reach to the station as I was traveling to outside of Dhaka, but still I am on my way. Sorry for that, but I will be listening all the discussion here. I would like to thank also Gobeshona team for organizing such a session with such a bigger platform and audience to share our experience and learning. We have our panelists. They are renowned researchers in this sector for a long time, and uh, especially CCDB has been working in the climate change adaptation and mitigation sector since last 1.5 decades. And over the period, we have introduced a lot of climate change intervention and strategy for food security, water adaptation, infrastructure adaptation, and social adaptation. But especially today, we would like to share some of our experience and learning so that we want to share our analytical standpoint and findings to all the audience and panelists, how we are addressing the food security, especially in the agriculture adaptation, and what we have achieved till now, and what are the gaps in the sector to being resilient with the changing climate condition. So I hope the presentation will be presented by one of our colleagues, Jasmine. She has been working for this systematic review for last few months, and I hope from her presentation we'll have a lot of information and we will have a lot of questions that we would like to discuss in this discussion with the panelists, so that we could have some sorts of understanding what are the gaps and what we need to do for future, because we are implementing a lot of projects in Bangladesh in coastal region, but still we yet to know that whether we are doing the right thing and what we need to transform in our actions and intervention and strategies. For so these kinds of review process will show us some future action point, so that we can help the poor and vulnerable communities rightly, and our resources will be utilized in with for their outcome production, so that we can utilize our resources efficiently and effectively. That's why we organize this session. I hope everybody presented in this session will have a good learning from this session. Thank you again to all of you attending this session, and I am requesting Jasmine for her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Quadri. Thank you so much for your warm welcome and brief about the session. Now we are going to digging deep into the presentation. So it is up to Jasmine now. And as you go through the presentation and hear the findings, please do pin your questions, your level feedbacks, any responses in the chat box, so that we could have a very fruitful discussion after that. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Jasmine Akhtar. Can you see all the presentation?
Yes, perfectly. Please go on.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Jasmine Akhtar, working as a research assistant at CCTV under the Climate Change Program. So, today I am presenting a systematic review on agricultural adaptation actions to address climate change in coastal region of Bangladesh. Okay. First of all, I would like to share the background of the study. As we know, globally climate change issues adversely affect on life and livelihood, specifically agricultural activities that leads to decline in productivity. And then coastal Bangladesh is most vulnerable area because this area faces climate disasters in several times every year. So, according to UNFCCC, adaptation has been a natural choice for protecting poor farmers' livelihood and food security. Here are the objectives of this study to assess the climate stresses in coastal region, to explore the existing adaptation actions, to identify the challenges, and to observe and report the gaps in this review paper. Um, the slide cannot be changed. So we follow the PRISMA methodology and use Google Scholar Scopus for searching journal papers which are published from 2015 to 2023. Here, the research criteria are coastal demographic climatic stresses and its impact, adaptation strategies, challenges, and gaps. These journal papers are focused on agricultural adaptation strategies which are conducted in coastal region of Bangladesh. So here the flow chart of systematic review, we follow 4 steps: identification, screening, eligibility, and inclusion, and included 58 documents in here. So I find that the current status of coastal region, this area consists of 19 districts and 43.82 million population, in where 29.74 million people are living in rural area. Here, 11.72% people are living in the lower poverty line and 23.52% people are living in upper poverty line. So, 85% of coastal residents are dependent on agricultural activities. And here, literacy rate is 78.47% who can read and write. Their major livelihoods are agriculture, business, labor, and driving services. uh, from this review paper, the perception of coastal farmers found that temperature is increasing and rainfall is unpredictable. In last 40 years, the temperature has increased with an average rate of 0.04 degrees Celsius in a year. The coastal area of Bangladesh that faces 4 or 5 times cyclone in every year and a super cyclone in every 3 years. As we know that the frequency of natural disaster has been increased, that salinized 53% of the southwestern coastal region. And from the global circulation model predicted that an average temperature has been increased in 1.0 degrees Celsius by 2030 and 1.4 degrees Celsius by 2050. And here also predicted that the height of the storm surges and mean sea level also has been rising, maybe risen by beginning of 22nd century. The major disasters are the salinity, cyclone, storm surges, tidal flooding, water logging, and erosion. So I will discussion on some findings from this review. This map represents the study in coastal region of Bangladesh. Here we can see that 42%
Sorry, an unfortunate technical error has been occurred. We are trying to fix it as soon as possible. Please be with us. কতক্ষণ লাগবে? So as the technical error has already occurred and we have no hand on it, so during this session, we can go on some panel discussion briefly. And I would like to request our Sam sir to reflect on the climate change impact on food security in coastal zone very briefly, and the adaptation and development gap to ensure the food security.
Thank you, Moushumi Haladar, moderator of the session. Mohammad Fazullah Talukdar, head of the Climatic Change Program, CCDP. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, perfectly. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Jasmine Akhtar is she is a keynote presenter. Okay, fine. Today we are trying to discuss about the agricultural adaptation, coastal people, and others. So, firstly, I want to congratulate Jasmine Akhtar till now. She has correctly mentioned about coastal people and agricultural adaptation system. Now, I want to say something. We know 43.82 million of people live in 19 districts of coastal region of Bangladesh. The people of coastal area are facing a lot of challenges due to the impact of climate change. We know people of coastal areas always fight with salinity, cyclone, storm, flooding, waterlogging, and river erosion. Besides that, heat wave, cold wave. Heat wave means prolonging number of hot days, cold days, heavy rainfall, scarcity of labor are making a new challenges of the livelihood and also in on income generation activities. And finally, on food security. These are also the impact of climate change in Bangladesh. We also concern about sea level rising and abnormality of sunshine hours. Now, come to the point. Extent of poverty in coastal zone is relatively high compared to remaining part of the country. We know 11.72% are lower poverty line and 23.52% are extreme poor. In coastal belt, income generating activities mainly agricultural laborer, small farmer, fisher, and others. The coastal region of Bangladesh comprises nearly 30% of the cultivable land. But the production process is hampered due to climate change, you know that. So agricultural adaptation action is needed. We know adaptation in sorry. So agricultural adaptation action is needed, but we know adaptation is the dynamic process of adjusting and mitigating the adverse impact of climate change. We again to try to say climate change is having severe impacts on the coastal region of Bangladesh, affecting to the local environment. Many adaptation actions have been implemented by government, non-government, and private organizations to reduce the adverse effects of climate change on the coastal rural livelihood. Now, the adaptation technology for crop production, vegetable fruit production, irrigation, salinity reduction, pesticide use, fish farming, medicine and chemical use, livestock rearing, and feed management is needed for sustainability of the people of coastal belt. So, what we want to do? Christian Commission of Development in Bangladesh, CCDB, is working on it from the beginning, as far I know. Okay. Firstly, we have to build up the awareness. What we want to do? Firstly, we have to build up the awareness of the impact of climate change on livelihood and food security and agriculture adaptation technique. As far I know, CCTV is already trying to flourish CCTV Climate Center for awareing this type of program. Need to increase engagement of women at this issue. Because women are powerful agents in conducting effective adoption, efforts to increase food security and the large livelihood of the communities. Agricultural mechanization is also needed, we know. Need to increase number of research for extension adaptation purpose for the agricultural sustainability in coastal area. Fund from national and international agencies is also needed to increase. Need to measure the social vulnerability index of the coastal household. I know CCTV are trying to build this sorts of index. Finally, the support from every stakeholders can make the future agricultural sustainability and food security of the household level in coastal region. Now I want to give thanks International Center for Climatic Change and Development, ICCAD, for arranging this type of Gobeshona Global Conference. At this moment, this is for my part. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your insightful sharing of your experiences. We'll come back to you again during the discussion session. For now, we have come up with the technical error, and now I'm requesting Jasmine again to present the rest of her presentation. And thank you everybody for keeping us with us.
Sorry, everyone, for technical issues. I cannot continue. So, so here the map represents the study in coastal region of Bangladesh. We can see that 42.6% studies are conducted in southwestern part and 44.44% studies are conducted in south central and 12.96% studies are conducted in southwestern part. So the total findings from this review presentation is handling. And person.
So actually, we are really having serious technical problem here. So we are requesting for 2 minutes, please, from everybody. Sorry for this inconvenience. We are really sorry for this thing.
Sorry again, everyone. Uh, total studies of these findings, we divided into three sectors that we can see. 61.11% studies on crop sector, 30.5% studies on fish sector, and 8.39% studies on livestock sector. These findings are mainly analyzes the climatic change and its impact and list adaptation measures. And mostly the studies from this review paper, we can see that they focused on the analyzing the significance of determinants that influence the choice of strategies, of which 90.9% of the studies were on the crop sector and 9.1% on the fish sector. These studies also explored the challenges and vulnerability index outcomes, climate finance, ranking climatic events. So from this study, we find some adaptation strategies are adapting coastal farmers for crop production, vegetable production, irrigation, salinity reduction, pesticides for crop sector, and fish farming infrastructure, medical use or chemical use in fish sector, livestock rearing infrastructure in livestock sector. So here we can see that 64% adaptation strategies are for based on crop sector, 18% adaptation strategies based on fish sector, and another 18% adaptation strategies based on livestock sector. This table shows the studies of adaptation strategies in the coastal region. We can see that the studies of crop sector are very regularly focused on the coastal southwestern region and south central part of Bangladesh. And here we can see also that there are very irregular studies of fish and livestock sector in the coastal region of Bangladesh. So we find out some challenges in this agriculture sector, which are social factor, physical factor, economic factor, uh, environmental factor. And lastly, we cannot mention any challenges that there is no studies on adaptation strategies in livestock sector from our review paper. So finally, the discussion point is most studies on adaptation strategies are focused on the crop sector, which are conducted in southwestern and south central region. But there are very irregularly studies in fish and livestock sector. And also here, the limited research on the adaptation strategies in every sector that can ensure the balanced diet. And as we know, the increasing frequency of natural disaster degrades the soil quality. So coastal communities need to prioritize the adaptation strategies and also the outcomes of it for food security. So I want to conclude that this study finds the insight into agricultural adaptation strategies, and we need more studies to develop appropriate metrics for assessing the impact of these strategies on livelihood and living condition. As we know, the adaptation strategies can enhance the living condition as well as their uh, lifestyle. And here also need some studies on livestock sector that can explore the adaptation strategies to adapt climate change impacts. Thank you all. That's all.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you very much for your informative presentation. And we all know that it is a bit odd time, like the lunchtime in Bangladesh, and still all of you are here with us, and we are really thankful for this thing. Now, going into the presentation reflection, I'd like to request our dear panelist, Atik sir, to reflect on the presentation briefly, first of all.
Thank you very much. So, thank you first, Kat, for arranging this very nice global conference. So, focusing on very important issues regarding climate change, adaptation, mitigation, loss damage, public-private partnership. I didn't able to join many sessions, but I saw some email. Anyway, so today's I was requested to discuss about three aspects the climate change impact on water and agriculture. So then local context, Delta plan, relationship with adaptation, and also the role of women in agriculture. So first, I would like to discuss about the climate change impact on water. And obviously, Jasmine, after she already discussed the issues.
Sir, we cannot
Yeah.
hear you perfectly. Can you speak a bit louder, please?
I'm very close to my laptop, so I should be audible. Anyway, so what else? I
A
can
bit
do?
louder voice will help us.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
okay, I'm trying. So if we discuss about the, so we know, so for water supply is very much important for agriculture purposes, yeah. But in the southwest coastal zone, especially in the review, we saw that the most of the review focused on southwest coastal zone and south central. I have more experience or more field visit experience from southwest coastal zone. So my discussion may focus more on southwest coastal zone. Anyway, so hydrogeomorphology of this region or the coastal zone is a big tragedy for us. We find fresh water very few places because the aquifer is not available. Few days ago, we visited a field in Shamnagar area, and we found that people are using a tube well, but and they are getting water only around the year for fresh water, but the EPAC or other organization bore within the 5 meter or 10 meter of the tube well, but they didn't get the sweet water. So that is the tragedy in this area. So now we have several issues in Southwest Coastal Zone. We know the polarization in 1960s, as in salinity increase, then water logging. So those made it more vulnerable than the climate impact. Flood, cyclone, storm surges. So now people are actually trying to adapt in different manner actually. So water adaptations. Government have several initiatives. As we know, we are trying to cultivate different saline tolerant varieties, then drip irrigation, then BADC also trying to adopt some pipe water supply system. So using the water efficiently, since we have the shortage of water, and most of the cases people are dependent on rainwater. People are storing rainwater. So if you see the adaptation options, so we are trying watermelon. So some adaptation options need more water requirement, like watermelon. So there are huge challenges for adaptation because we also need short-term crops due to um, the risks of heavy rainfall, extreme weather events. Also, we need to consider the cyclone seasons. So water use is in many places, I would say, have many difficulties. So people are trying to adapt with rainwater harvesting system. They are storing the rainwater in canals, mini ponds, and as I said, government have different conservative approach or plans or demonstration at the level. So that is the and regarding the first point, I would upload here if there is any question. So I will try to give feedback. Then regarding the local context, so National Adaptation Plan and then Delta Plan, Sustainable Development Goal. We are trying. All those documents are very good words over there. Like we have to adopt a public-private partnership. So you have to go for nature-based solution. You have to adopt a ecosystem-based approach. But actually, the reality is as Dr. Sen said, the adaptation need a lot of understanding, awareness activities. When we go to the field, as we see there are new approaches, adaptation approaches, but people are not getting enough support for adopt the technologies. As I said, watermelon, sunflower, marketing, value chain, so are not developed. So many organizations, international and national organizations are working, but proper package is not over there. How to make it sustainable? How to make it the adaptation sustainable? So if we say in the books or in the policies, Delta Plan and everywhere, there are very good words, but the implementation, government capacity, maybe not up to the level or not. There is also severe lack of planning between the organizations who are working at the field level. And from my experience, you may have different opinion. The national organization, international organizations, there is a uh, there may be some comments. Sorry, I will check the comments later. So there may be a lack of coordination. That is a very common scenario in our country, not only for agriculture. If we say water resource planning management and any other sector, we have sectoral integration. There is lack of. Okay, so maybe I tried to cover a bit about the second point. Now I would like to discuss about the role of women in agriculture. Okay, so if we say about the role of women in agriculture, then I should say that in agriculture production, women are actually uh, contributing, but their involvement, active involvement is not still seen. Women are contributing in water management, for household water, also for agriculture water. So they can play a vital role. There are some cultural burial in southwest coastal zone, but still we can see women are working actively for agriculture production. They also have very good traditional knowledge that could be used for good agriculture practices, that is for adaptation and mitigation practices. So capacity building, education, so gender disparity, reduction of gender disparity is very important to involve women in agriculture. Gender responsive policies and programs should be implemented that will help us to adapt for agriculture production, uh, also fisheries, also livestock. Maybe I may mainly focused on agriculture. Agriculture is a broad head, so livestock and the fisheries come under agriculture. This is a in general talk actually, but if you have any query regarding my words, I will try to explain. So women's empowerment and gender equality would help us to adapt in agriculture, climate change impact, adaptation, and mitigation. Thank you very much for CCDB inviting me. Thank you for patient here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your such extensive sharing. And as we are hearing the experiences from our panelists and watching the presentations, I hope some of you have already responses, and it is really insightful to get your valuable responses here. And we'll come back to that after the sharing of first five. So now it is up to Fazfai to you to reflect briefly on the presentation first, and then to the entire session of today, like the panelist discussion point, and then briefly discuss about the relationship between the community and the development partners and the government in response to climate change, and what is the role of capacity development in this sector, in particularly in agriculture sector, is important. And as well as I would also like to request you to share some of the CCTV's program and interventions in terms of in this area. Over to you, Fazfai.
Thank you, Mo, and thank you, Jasmine, for the presentation. However, there was a technical problem. Therefore, I think a lot of audience could not get the core message of the presentation. Therefore, I would reflect on the presentation a little bit. Then I will talk on the current issues, strategies of government and NGO, what we are doing, and what could be the more impactful discussion here for future climate change adaptation strategies in coastal region. This is this. If I go back to the history, why we started this uh, systematic review. CCDB has been implementing the community resilience building project since 2012 in the coastal regions of Bangladesh, and a lot of intervention strategies and technologies also we have implemented over the last few years with the different villages. But uh, uh, there was a question always in our mind, uh, what the outcome benefit peoples are getting from all this intervention. And not only CCDB is implementing the climate change adaptation strategies and intervention technologies in the areas, but government, non-government, private sector, a lot of organizations, CBOs are working in the same field also. Therefore, we started thinking what what are the outcome of this intervention, whether this intervention contributing to their quality of life, and what is the degree of adaptation in that community for over the long period we are working over there. While we started thinking on that issue, particularly, we found that we need to know disease, especially in the agricultural sector, because agricultural sector is the major sector, food security sector in the coastal area. So, what are those interventions? How we can define the agricultural adaptation strategies in our broader research aspect? Therefore, we started to see the agricultural adaptation and strategies ongoing in the research is ongoing in the last few years, because we can see in Bangladesh a lot of NGOs, lot of private sector and government, we are implementing a lot of projects and programs in Bangladesh, and we are doing a lot of research also, report are also there, a lot of workshop, seminar and capacity buildings are over there. But uh, we exactly wanted to see those interventions, those research are in the peer review journals, and those are in a very done has been very systematic way. Uh, those are captured in a very proper methodology, following proper methodology and valid research and reliable research also. That we started thinking, searching all those researches into the peer review portfolio with different journals. Then we found this almost 1,000 research over there, particularly um, following some criteria. And when we screened this all those research, we found the results that has been shown mm, by the presenter here. And we found that all those activities and intervention we are doing a lot of good work in the community through different government and non-government NGO and private sector. But those intervention and those activities, those strategies need to be validated. Through this review of literature, review of research, systematic review, this has been shown that we are doing a lot, but we are not doing proper research on those on this particular issue. We are not evaluating ourselves also. We are doing a lot of research, but those research are not in the journal and peer review portfolio also. It means that to what extent we are serious uh, that we are evaluating ourselves. So this is one of the issue that we can find from this review, that we have to put more emphasis on our program and projects for research and finding and publishing in a very proper systematic way, that will have very proper accreditation from the research community also. And this is also important, the systematic review, that we are implementing a lot of projects, we are planning a lot of projects, but we are not doing very good research on the previous project. And there are very few publications on all those huge projects and programs here in Bangladesh. So how we are planning our projects here, if we are not emphasizing to evaluate our activities, how we are planning for future project also. This is the gaps that came up from this systematic study, that we should put emphasis on our project programs and strategy for proper research and publication with the systematic way. That's why a lot of research is ongoing in different fields, but we are not getting it into the peer review portfolio. That is one of the biggest issue that presenter tried to show here. So discuss here can help us to plan our future research and future project and programs, so that we can have good learning from the previous project and programs with proper methodology, and we can plan our future program. So we should emphasize on this issue. And on the other side, I would say that we are doing a lot of technologies, but technology is very much important for adaptation. That is over sure. But how to implement the technology? If we cannot develop capacity of the users on that particular technology, that effectiveness of technology will not up to the mark, so that the users can be benefited. Though we found that the capacity development on the particular technology is not up to the mark, and the people they have different opinion on different technologies. So if we can do a very good research and we can emphasize on the research how the effectiveness of different technologies and different strategies we can do properly, that will help us for future technologies and future intervention and studies of climate change adaptation. That we from this review that is came out that we have to emphasize on this technological adaptation field also. However, from this session, I would like to request the audience and the organizer also, uh, how the women and the friendly technologies and solution strategies are in the field that has not been explored very following proper guidance from here. If we can explore all this gender friendly and women friendly intervention and strategies, that can also help us to expedite our project and programs to help this climate change and gender issues. Finally, I would like to thank the presenter and the organizer, ICARD, for providing such an opportunity to share our mm, findings here. I hope we will be able to connect the audience through this presentation, so that we can help each other and we can develop our own strategy for future project and programs also, and future research also. Thank you, Mo. Thank you all.
Thank you, Fajwell. Thank you so much. And from all the discussion, it is very prominent the research gap in terms of effective climate change adaptation, technological solutions, development, and promotion. And we already have a good understanding on what should we need to do and how should we need to do to make our adaptation strategies effective more. And like now, I'm again requesting Fazfai to share the intervention CCTV is already implementing and the experience CCTV already have gathered in terms of climate change adaptation and resilience building.
I think I am on the vehicle already. So somebody from the team that can share also, I think so.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Fazfai. So if Polashda is available, I think Polashda is available with us. I'd like
I don't
to
think that he's also traveling. He's also traveling. So Ramjan, you and somebody else can share it, I think.
Okay, in that case, I would like to take the opportunity by myself. So CCTV is working in Bangladesh since 1973. And from the very beginning, CCTV is working for the development of the very marginalized people. And with this journey, CCTV has established a dedicated climate change program in 2012 with a goal to build a resilient society. And our main motto or objective is that to make the resilience in a systematic way, so that the resilience infrastructure, resilience system could be in place in society. And we are closely working with our very vulnerable, climate vulnerable communities for more than a decade to make them introduce with the sustainable solution. And we are still researching how sustainable, how effective the solutions are, and why people are not taking some technologies. Many organizations like CCDB, we are implementing, we are investing our fund in terms of climate change adaptation technologies. But in what measures, in what scale those technologies are really helpful for the people in those particularly vulnerable areas. So we are still researching on it, and we are making evidence-based project formulation and implementation. And very recently in 2022, we have opened the Climate Center, CCDB Climate Center, located in Sripur, Gazipur, to where we disseminated over currently like 100 plus adaptation and mitigation technologies. And it is particularly very zone based, like the climatic zone based, the Chor zone, the Howard zone, the coastal area, the hill area. And we have showcased how climate change is impacting those particular area and what could be the proper solutions for that area. And again, our climate center have the opportunity to uh, make the very open learning environment for all the people, not only particularly for the people who are working on climate change, but for all whoever will able to visit there or see some go through the website of Climate Center. They will be able to visit some really effective technologies. We have collected the technologies from the community from around the world and showcase it so that it could be contextual and viable for the community adaptation practices. As well as we are working very actively on capacity building. Like we are working to build the capacity of community as well as the professional groups, both national and internationally. And our capacity building intervention have really targeted the way that people could make it understandable and could make it applicable, the learning into their real field of work. And community can applicate the learning from our capacity building training and some events and some workshops in their practical way of life, in changing their lives and livelihoods. And none but not the least, the climate change portal that we are CCTV is building. Actually, it's a knowledge portal, climate change portal. So it is a hub, it is a knowledge hub to share all the valuable resources that not only CCTV, all the practitioners around the world could upload and share for wider dissemination. So the link is already probably in the chat box by our technical team. You can join the CCTV Climate Portal, and you can find many important climate change information, knowledge, and resources there. You can also share yours. So we are really grateful that we could make some platform for all of you, and it is a great opportunity for CCTV to share some of our findings through today's session also. So now we are going to make the session floor open to all GR audiences for your valuable responses or feedbacks or any sharing. And since we have some kind of time in our hand, and we make it happen so that you could share in person all your feedback. So if anyone wanted to share anything, you could raise your hand and I could open your speaker so that you could directly share some of your experiences or any questions to the panelist or presenter. And in the meantime, I'd like to thank specially please forgive me if I miss anybody. We have our participants, our audience from Aranak Foundation, Faith in Action, MCC Bangladesh, HEX, Icon Foundation, and many other prominent organization, and of course from CCDB, also CCDB colleagues from various area offices. So thank you very much for being with us. And here I can see hand from Pradeep Marandi. Yes, please.
Yeah, can you guys
Yeah,
hear me?
perfectly.
Yeah, okay.
Perfectly.
Thank you. I have a specific question. I mean, when as a development institution, so when we work for the community, uh, I mean, solely on the climate change adaptation, sometimes we see the international agency also prescribe some kind of methodology for the adaptation technique. And sometimes when we see the intervention in our local level, we see that specifically on the agricultural sector, our farmers are getting so much dependent on market. And sometimes the intervention of our development agencies also play a role for increasing the market dependency of the farmer, and in the name of the adaptation, or let's say much a higher production, that sort of thing. So how as the development institution, what can be the way for deal with this kind of issues, so that our farmers are, obviously market dependence is not that all negative, but sometimes it's a moral questions also, who will the I mean the sovereignty of the seed. I mean, in earlier times our farmer were able to and preserve their seed, and those seed they use for further cultivation. But now we see farmers don't have that sort of opportunity, and also the development agencies also not prescribing those kind of seed, so that the farmer have sovereignty of on their seed. So these are the perspective currently we are seeing in the field level. So as a development organization, what can be done, and how we can be so more cautious about this kind of thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradipda. And as far as I know, CCPVO is working on the farmers' right. Uh, and for the questions of Pradipda, may I go to Faiz Bhai to answer the question about farmers' right regarding preserving the seed sovereignty?
Saim bhai, can you just start the discussion? I can conclude it. Professor Saim, are you there?
Sam sir is not with us right now.
Okay. So thank you, Mr.
Pradipda.
Uh,
Pradeep.
Pradeep. Thank you. This is a very valid issues you have raised, and you know, the um, farmers are now trying to maximize the production. Farmers are now trying to maximize the production. They are maximize the profit. But there are a lot of private organizations and some other development organizations working to maximize the production also, due to the food security aspect, because peoples are a lot of population are increasing. There are different motivation from different sorts of organization. You will find some organization, they are working for the indigenous varieties and indigenous seed preservation system. And Bangladesh government has introduced several projects so that farmers can preserve their own seed. There are some projects I can recall. So farmers can also develop hybrid seed also. That project has been implemented by Bangladesh government also. But this is very much technical to develop such kinds of hybrid seed, but this is very much possible to preserve their own seed from easily cultivate high yielding variety. They can easily preserve high yielding variety, and I think these kinds of process, high yielding variety preservation by own seed, is very much sustainable because farmers know the quality of their own seed. Farmer can preserve it, and they know what is the problem in the seed. But unfortunately, the production of the high yielding varieties is not as light as the hybrid seed and other super high yielding variety also. But this is the huge problem in our farmers community, because farmers want to maximize their profit. Farmer wants to maximize their production. But unfortunately, those organizations, they are working for the super hybrid seed. They are not providing the more technical knowledge to the farmers, and they are not providing the more technical cost benefit ratio of the cultivation of the hybrid seed also. So there are different opinion in the market, but we should uh, um, develop capacity of the farmers, providing all sorts of information. What are the cost benefit ratio of a hybrid seed? What are the cost benefit ratio of the HIV high yielding variety, and what are the cost benefit ratio of the indigenous varieties also? Then we can make them free for their own choice, but we cannot bound them to do anything choice. This is farmer choice, farmer side, what they will do. But our intervention should be to provide information to the farmers so that they can make their own decision. So this could be the conclusion from my side. We should do our best to make a farmer aware with all sufficient information, required information, so that make the decision. Then I hope so farmer will choose the good good product for themselves. That is on your question I can say. Thank you.
First, it is really informative. I hope Pradipta get some response from this answer. We have probably Nipenda from Paid in Action who have raised your hand. Now it's
Okay, thank you very much for this informative and in-depth discussion, as well as the research documents. We have the report you have presented. It's really informative. One question of mine is, in doing this research, do you reflect on the migration and the results of migration, and what would be the future for adaptation for this to stop internal migration? Secondly, you have also we have seen the data of poverty level in the coastal area. What is the what is the level of what is the difference between the national level of poverty? So if you please clarify, it would be really good.
Thank you, Nipenda. I think our Jasmine could answer this question, like what is the difference of poverty level between the national poverty line and the coastal poverty line?
Thank you for this question. Here, actually, national poverty line is actually 24.3. That is really at the upper poverty line. That we can see that in coastal region, if we calculate the average, then it will be maybe near to 20 or 20, 18 poverty line. So here, of course, a gap between national poverty line and coastal poverty line. Thank you. And the other thing was the migration. Migration, actually, I didn't mention in this report because I just reviewed the agricultural adaptation strategies. Of course, migration could be a adaptation uh, that can be internal internal in Bangladesh. So, but that's not for agricultural productivity. That's not for agricultural productivity. That's why I couldn't mention the migration. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. But as Atik sir has a long experience in working in coastal areas, Atik sir, you can say something, share your experiences regarding the coastal migration issues.
Yeah. Thank you. So coastal migration, I may not clearly recall the question arise, but coastal migration is very expected. Okay, because you know many people are living outside the polar area. So cyclone and other disaster storms are making them vulnerable. So there are mainly people they are living their village for 6 months, and also many areas people already migrated. We see the statistics of the southwest coastal zone, Bagherat, Satkhira. So female-headed household number increase because male are not available because they migrated permanently for job and other places, and also many families are migrating to Khulna and also other areas. So now, could you please give me the specific question? Maybe I'm talking
Yes.
about the
Yes,
specific.
sir.
Just,
So
yeah,
the
please.
question was actually the question was the migration, as migration is happening and it is really visible now in particularly in coastal area and from the effect of climate change, obviously. So is this the future of adaptation, or is this, are you counting it as a adaptation strategy, migration as a adaptation strategy, or how to control it and how to resettle this issue into the
Okay.
adaptation framework?
Okay. Okay. Migration is not adaptation strategy in my opinion. So I want to keep people over there because this is a cultural issue. I don't want to stay in Chittagong. I don't understand their language. If I go to Sylhet, I also can understand what also within the very small distances within Bangladesh. So people want to stay in his own place, but we are making them vulnerable. As I said, they are staying outside the polar area. So how they will stay over there? So the water board are preparing the embankment that is not in good form, good quality. Every year there are breaching of the embankments. So we are making them vulnerable. What the government and other organization we are doing, we are not openly working for the people, those very vulnerable people. As I said, they don't have safe drinking water. They are very prone to cyclone disaster. So the sectoral integration and the national international government integration for doing any kind of development project is very severe over there. There is lack of coordination. So I hope you got what I am trying to say.
Mo, can I respond to that? Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Atik bhai, for your clarification. But if I would like to uh, mm, relate the migration issue with that particular study, yeah, you will find few studies over there due to due to converting the agricultural field to the shrimp farming, there are a lot of people, the day labor, they lost their job, agricultural labor in those some part of this area, but they bound to migrate, temporarily migrate for their day labor in some other cities. That is clear evidence we have at this moment from this study, from different review of literature also. This is something very, very important. We have to look into that, how we are um, we are selecting our strategies of the adaptation. Obviously, somebody is taking the shrimp as adaptation options, but this shrimp cultivation, converting the agriculture field into shrimp cultivation, a lot of people are losing their agricultural labor also. This is how we can relate with this study review and the migration. But the whole migration issue, we did not search in the review of literature in the systematic review. Therefore, we cannot conclude any statement from the systematic review how migration is going on in the coastal area. But obviously, we got the relation in some study that migration and climate agricultural adaptation, climate change adaptation, in somehow they are related. Thank you.
Thank you, Fazbe and Nipenda. Thank you very much. It is a very vital issue, the coastal migration. Particularly, we need to focus on when we are developing our adaptation plan and strategies. Now, I would like to request Kamal Bhai from Icon Foundation, who you have raised your hand. Now, the floor is your for your question or any feedback, please.
Okay, thank you very much for your mind-blowing discussion. I would like to this is my curiosity. I would like to request to answer this. People from coastal area are providing different crops. They are producing different crops, but they are not marketing all those, such as sunflower and moog bean. Is there any initiative by CCDP over there? And another one is people don't have any facilities for storage their crops after harvesting time. So they have to sell out their production in a very low price. In this area, CCDP, what are they are doing? And salinity is growing up. So sensitive species of fish is a very risk. So in this area, what you are doing? Thank you very much, giving me the opportunity to tell some questions.
Yeah, thank you, Kamal Bhai. It is very vital, and CCTV is really intervening in this area. Faz Bhai, can you elaborate on it, please?
Any Upozilla coordinator, especially our uh, Pathorghata Upozilla coordinator, is he there in the meeting?
Yeah, Shubhrata, can
Subrata?
you hear me?
Okay, okay. So thank you, Kamal bhai. Thank you for your very important and vital question. CCTV has been working in the coastal area since 2011, and we are still facing the same problem you raised. There are a lot of adaptation technologies initiated by different organizations, especially sunflower, and they can sell it with the proper price in the market. And we have introduced a very innovative methodology for that in the coastal community. That is called participatory marketing approach. That is, then you will find that all we have constructed few cyclone shelter in the particular coastal area, and we are working with different cyclone shelter with the government also. We are trying to build the cyclone, all the cyclone shelters in the coastal region as a livelihood sector. So this is this would be a resilient sector, not only cyclone shelter. It means all the farmers around surrounding that cyclone shelter will be able to utilize this cyclone shelter and its premises for their storage facilities, for their agro processing facilities, and they can easily store their products over there. And as the farmers, they can now easily store their products and easily they process their products in the premises of the cyclone shelter. They can easily, they have now their store facilities. That is a very good model we have introduced with the local government and the Upazila government, that is now scaling up in different communities also. This is one of the question I would like to address here, that everybody, we are working in different community. We can follow the same model, the utilization of existing cyclone shelter and transform the cyclone shelter as a resilient center, not on the cyclone shelter. This is something very different. We introduced it last 5 or 6 years in different communities, and that is very popular in the community at this moment. Another issue, people bound to sell their product with less price, Therefore, we have introduced very innovative approach over there. We have established, community has established CCRC, Community Climate Resilience Center. They have their own funding. They have their own business model also. Through this business model, during the earliest stage of the crop harvest, all the farmers, they are getting loan from this um, uh, from the CCRC, and they can easily pay their debt for the seeds and fertilizer, and they can easily store this their products into the cyclone shelter. And after 2 or 3 months, when they can better price, they can easily sell their products and they can easily provide services to the CCRC also. This is a very good model we have introduced in the community, and that model is very popular for the farmers also, and they are getting more price and they can easily harvest there. And all this, we are also providing them some mechanical instrument also, so that they can process their sunflower and mustard and moog also in the community. So we are still trying to develop a good linkage with the mainstreaming market channel through the bigger amount of this product in the community, so that they can easily do their business through the CCRC in the coming futures, and they can have their own sustainability and resilience in the community. I think you got the response as per your question. Thank you, Kamal bhai.
Thank you very much, Bhai. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
and
nice.
And you are
Kamal
most
bhai,
welcome to visit this our approach.
yeah,
I'll
exactly.
I'll
You are
try my
most
best.
welcome to visit our approach.
I will try my best. Another thing is that, Mugbun is very famous crops over there, especially in Patuakhali. Do you have any initiative to establish a crushing mill over there by the initiative of the government, or by the support of CCTP, for the benefit of the rural poor people who are producing crops over there?
Yeah, that is in the plan of CCRC, because the crushing mill and the oil extracting mill is little bit expensive, and they need to know the production of their own community. They are still increasing the production in the community. If the CCRC can find, they can now afford a crushing mill or the oil extracting mill. Obviously, they will establish their own mill over there. That opportunity they have, this support we are providing along with the government also. So I hope in the coming future, when they will have their production, sufficient production, they will obviously install their crushing mill and oil extraction mill also in the some of the cyclone shelter. I think so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faiz Bhai and Kamal Bhai, for this fruitful discussion. And every one of you are most welcome in visiting CCTV Climate
Atik bhai,
Center. And
Atik bhai is raising his hand.
Yeah, I saw. To visit CCTV Climate Center and all our working areas to see the approaches, how we are working directly, very closely with community-led approach. Now, as we are at the end of the session, I'm going to give a very short minute, 1 minute or 2 minutes to Atik sir to share something.
Sorry, but just you missed a question from Henry. So I thought that we should give some response within the time frame. That's why I raised the hand. So Henry raised question: what are the specific blueprint infrastructure technologies within the coastal areas? Let me give some examples. So for example, rainwater harvesting system. During my talk, I said that we are storing the rainwater. So you can consider we are using for irrigation, especially in the coastal areas that we can consider as a blueprint technology infrastructure.
Sir, we cannot hear you perfectly. Sorry again.
Still, your facing the issue. Let me check.
I think if you are closer to your computer,
I'm
then
very
it is
close
okay.
to my. I'm very close. Okay, now is it? Can you hear me?
Audible. Yeah, now audible.
Okay.
Yes,
So
completely.
first I said the blue green infrastructure is the rainwater harvesting system. We are storing the rainwater for irrigation and other purposes. Then we can say that we are using bioengineering. That means natural material vegetation to stabilize the shorelines for flood protection, riverbank erosion protection. We are considering ecotourism. And also I can say that tidal barrages, so environment friendly tidal barrages, so those are, and also I should say about climate resilient agriculture and agroforestry. Those are the some examples of grouping. Sorry, due to time limitation, I make my talk short. Okay.
But you can
Over to
proceed.
you.
It's okay. It's okay. As it was the question from our one of our participant, Henry. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And it is the end of the session. Hopefully, we have gained some perspective and some gathered some collective knowledge from this session, which will lead us in making our interventions more impactful for the community, for dealing with the growing climate change challenges. So, now I'd like to request every one of you to open your camera so that we could have a photo, like a digital photo of everyone of this session. Is it good, Ramjan?
Okay.
Are we done?
Yes, we have taken the picture. Thank you so much.
Okay.
you.
And from CCTV side, Ramjan, did you take the picture?
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Team ICAD, obviously, for your hard work. And dear panelists, Atik sir and Sam sir, Faiz Bhai and Jasmine, and our technical team. Thank you very much. And obviously, the audience, without you, our session would not be that impactful that we have thought so far. And please keep in touch so that we could share our common vision and work together. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.